So our facilitating, the therapists are trying to adapt a more of a client-centered, Carl Rogers, unconditional positive regard approach. Because what we're trying to do is teach people, like the heroin addict, the woman who was saying, I really love myself today. She's kind of moved from a real kind of self-criticism to much more of a self-acceptance-based approach. So that's what we're doing in terms of the therapists working with clients. We're trying to help the therapist be authentic, unconditional acceptance, empathic, have humor, be more present-centered. Most importantly, the therapists need to have their own ongoing meditation practice, similar to what they're teaching. So it's not like the therapist is coming in and saying, here's what you need to do. They're all doing it. So therapists say, you know, I had some friends come over during the week, I wasn't able to meditate a couple of days, and some of the clients would say, well, that happened to me too. It's really sharing the experience. And although we have the mindfulness treatment guide, we're trying to get people to be spontaneous and creative rather than doing it as a cookbook. So formal meditation practices, what we do is we offer people a menu of different meditation strategies, practice them, see what it's like, and to pick things that are particularly helpful. The body scan, which is basically in the Vipassana course, starting in day 4, a lot of it is body scans. So you're not just paying attention to your breath during the meditation, but physical sensations starting at the top of your head and going all through your body. Really becoming much more aware of physical sensations. So urges and cravings would be included in that. So we're trying to teach people to be a lot more mindful of those kinds of experiences. Then we do sitting meditation, the classic focusing on the breath with focused awareness. And as soon as you realize that your mind is wandering off, which of course it mostly does, then you bring your attention back to the breath and you continue that way. Then expanding that to awareness of the body, emotions, and thoughts that are happening. We also have walking meditation. Some people, they just don't like sitting down and doing meditating, but they do the walking meditation, paying attention to the physical sensations of walking very slowly. And there's, like Thich Nhat Hanh has a great CD on teaching people walking meditation. So many people find that to be very helpful. And the mountain meditation, John Kabat-Zinn came up with this. It's basically an imagery-based meditation where you imagine a mountain that you know or that you can imagine. And you then, during the meditation, you imagine that you are the mountain. Your body and the mountain are one. And basically the meditation is basically saying, even though the mountain is having all kinds of weather changes, might be snow, fog, ice, you're still centered. People may come and like you, or they may not like you. It's okay. You're still there. You're still centered. So these are kinds of imagery-based meditations that a lot of people find helpful as well. Now, we're basically asking people to go through meditation exercises during the week in between their classes and to do 30 to 40 minutes of meditation. And I'm just going to pass around a CD that we allow people to, we gave them this CD. It's called Mindful Solutions for Addiction and Relapse Prevention. It's by Stephanie Goldstein and Elisha Goldstein, and they're in Los Angeles. They're both therapists. So I'll just pass this around, and you can see on the back they have 7 different tracks, including body scans, meditation for the body, meditation for addiction and relapse, and things like that. So they are asking to, you'll see what kind of results we're getting in terms of how much homework they were actually doing. Then we have these informal brief meditations. This is an acronym on sober. Like, what if you're right there and you're thinking, oh my God, I really want to have the drink, or I really want to use the drug. Try this. Stop. S stands for stop, pause wherever you are. O, observe what's happening in your body and mind in terms of cravings and sensations. Like that woman in the video, she said, when I'm getting into a conflict with somebody in the door, I pay attention to my heart rate, and I focus in on how I'm feeling. That's how she copes. And then B, focus on the breath. Bring focus to the breath as an anchor to help stay focused and stay present. E, expand your awareness to the whole body and the surroundings. Think through, what if I did this, what would happen? And then finally, respond mindfully as compared to automatically. And because people have already learned the meditation strategies, this is just a kind of a brief adaptation of that when you're in the middle of a high-risk situation. And another one that we developed, we call urge surfing. I learned this from a guy that I was trying to help quit smoking. He was a Microsoft engineer, 3 packs a day. And he just said, I can't stop because every time I stop, even after about half an hour, the cravings and the urges are so intense that if I don't have a cigarette, I think I'm going to go crazy. So I was trying to explain to him, that urges are like, cravings are like conditioned responses. Pavlov's dog, you ring the bell, start salivating because it was associated with food. You can't keep that from happening, but you can recognize it and see if you can work with it instead of giving into it. And he said, oh, it sounds like an ocean wave kind of thing. Turns out he's from San Diego. He used to be a surfer before he moved to Seattle. So he started to think, and we worked together, that when the urge to smoke was coming up, he would focus on his breath and try and ride the wave until it passes down the other end instead of giving into it. And that, after he practiced it for about 2 weeks, he was able to go off smoking altogether. So these kinds of brief strategies, how to deal with urges and cravings, are part of what we offer folks. So here's the 8 sessions. The first session is the mind on automatic pilot, stimulus response. You're not thinking about what you're doing, how to get more aware of triggers and cravings. Mindfulness in daily life, so that you can practice mindfulness when you're doing the dishes or having a shower in the morning, paying attention to your activities and be mindful of them. And then mindfulness in high-risk situations that could be associated with falling off the wagon. Balancing acceptance. You're going to accept the fact that you're still having urges and cravings, but you don't have to be giving into them. One woman, she had a serious alcohol and depression problem. And she went to a meditation retreat, and after she came back, she wasn't drinking anymore. And I said, you still have thoughts about drinking when you're depressed? And she said, yeah. When I'm depressed, I think, I really want to drink, but I no longer have to be dictated to by my thoughts. And she pointed out to me, I didn't realize this before, that the word addiction and the word dictator have the same root, telling you to do something. You don't have to give in, but you can't get rid of these things. That's the whole point. They're going to crop up. How to accept them and let them go. Thoughts is just thoughts. And then self-care, taking care of yourself and lifestyle balance. Trying to do more other activities, meditation, exercise, and building support networks. This is important. Like in 12-step programs, you can continue to go to the group and do that your whole life. You can do that every day if you want. We need more groups where people who've gone through the program can still get together and meditate. And we're now developing several programs like that in Seattle. So each session runs about 2 hours. And the first 45 minutes or so, we're teaching meditation strategies, and then the rest of the time we're discussing how would this affect your risk for relapse and what kinds of coping strategies would be most helpful. So we did this randomized controlled trial at a treatment center in Seattle, recovery centers in King County. We either gave them mindfulness or treatment as usual, which is more of a group process, 12-step psychoeducation. This was during the aftercare stage. We ran 12 groups. We had 2 master's level therapists per group, 5 to 12 participants. Basically, what we did was follow them up for 4 months. A lot of these people were very difficult to track. Many of them were homeless. Lots of people with serious co-occurring disorders, court mandated. But by 4